Yes, I love it. We are on. You put the thing next to you.
And it's on.
Yes.
My aunts, we got to have that balance in our life.
We do.
Yes.
So we're on. We're back.
Right.
Welcome to Zen Sistars podcast.
Yes. Podcast where Briauna and I, just to kind of give you a little bit about us in 2025, what the intention behind having a podcast like Zen Sistars is for women that look like us, that come from the backgrounds that we come from. Briauna and I, we found ourselves in a yoga studio one day, seeking, I guess,
Refuge. No.
just seeking a deeper meaning to life.
Yeah.
And we wanted to create a safe space for women who, men and women who look like us, who not just look like us, but who are of different ethnic backgrounds, different shapes, different sizes, and who wanted to find a safe space to be able to express themselves. Yeah, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, especially, going into these spaces in Western society where you walk in and you're the only girl in there with her cornrows and her wig in the car and and you're doing hot yoga in these spaces where it feels a little uncomfortable. And I think I was a little uncomfortable signing up for my first yoga retreat. That was something I always wanted to do when I was still a student and before I became a teacher. And it can be kind of intimidating a little bit. And so we're just here to kind of break down those barriers, answer the questions, kind of talk from our perspectives, and make this a safe space.
Yes. And so since we are in 2025, one of the things that Briauna and I love to do is travel.
We're passport ready. We are
ready
to go.
Anywhere. Anywhere. For me, preferably where there's a beach.
Yes.
But one of the things that we love to do is go on retreats. And so yoga retreats, or wellness retreats rather, is something that we frequent and we look forward to putting on more of. We had an opportunity to host our first yoga retreat last year in Bali, which was wonderful, and we want to kind of continue the unfolding of that. But we wanted to kind of talk about what are wellness retreats, why do people go on these retreats, what are they seeking when they go there, and what are some of the pros and cons of going on a retreat, of hosting a retreat,
Ooh, girl.
and kind of give you early birds. If you are interested in going to Bali in 2025, we do have some openings, so kind of open that up to the public as well.
We're going. Yeah.
Yes. So what?
Maybe even an Africa retreat?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. We're definitely talking about having a retreat in Africa. Maybe Ghana, maybe Cape Town.
Oh, yes.
We'll figure it out.
We're figuring it out.
Put it together. It is definitely in the plans of 2025. So if you've never been to a wellness retreat before, we just kind of want to open up the door and share a little bit about what that's like. First of all, what is a wellness retreat?
A wellness retreat is a space to get away. I feel kind of get out of the environment you're in and be immersed in a new setting where you're able to really sit with self. There's so many different types of retreats. You can go on a silence retreat.
That I'm really looking forward to go on.
Which is actually kind of scares me a little bit.
We should do that together.
We should, but it's literally like you kind of take the time to yourself with a journal, and you can't speak.
And you don't have your phones either.
You can't have your phone. You're disconnected from technology. And, a lot of times these retreats are hosted in rural areas, away from the city life, away from the noise.
In nature.
And it can be quite uncomfortable to kind of be in just but I feel like to be in a complete new space, but I feel like sometimes that's what you need in order to grow, is you need to become a little bit uncomfortable.
I agree.
And remove from that space to really be able to look at your life and figure out, the answers to your questions, whatever those may be.
You know what that reminds me of? Like, also, not just a retreat, but getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Your environment, like you said, which is so important, because you find you grow in these, whether it's a week, whether you go for a week, whether you go for 3 days, 5 days, you find that you grow so much, and that you don't leave the same way that you've actually entered into that space. So when you leave, you are actually renewed and changed. Something shifts within you
Mm-hmm.
after a retreat. Well, that's been my experience. I know everybody's experience is different, but yeah, like there's yoga retreats, there's silent retreats, there are plant medicine retreats, there are
Yes, that's my next one. Yes.
there are breathwork retreats, just anything you can think of. I'm sure, you know, if it resonates with you, I'm sure you can find something out there where if you're looking for, like you said, answers, or you're looking to change something in your life, there are different retreats that allow you to get away, decompress, reset, recharge, and then enter back into society. So
Yes.
so yeah,
Some time away.
yeah, which I think is important. I
And
think
it's
we all need to reset and recharge.
we do, and it's different than going with like your husband or your family or your kids. It's just you, you know, and it's doing something for you for a change, and like booking your flight for whatever reasons you have, from whatever background you're coming from, just to be able to, like you said, realign and refocus, even if it's for a couple of days.
Yeah, yeah. I had an opportunity to go to a couple different retreats. One in particular, it was the sun-fired raw
Ooh,
food
the alkaline.
retreat.
Yeah.
Yes, with Dr. Aris Latham.
Yes.
Shouts out to you.
Yes.
He is an incredible wellness, raw food pioneer.
In Panama, right?
Yes, I actually. So I went out to Panama. I kind of knew that I wanted to learn more about eating raw foods and the benefits of that, to detoxing, to healing, to really resetting my body, my gut, and all those different things. And so he kept coming up on my feed. He was one that I'd often go and look at different videos, whether that's YouTube or Instagram, and I just resonated with him and wanting to learn all that he's shared. And so went to Panama,
Yes.
which was incredible. Got to stay on the farm there, which was beautiful, surrounded by different fruit trees and different. I mean, it's literally on a coconut farm, so we have fresh coconuts every single day throughout the day. And he really broke down the science of eating raw foods and how he doesn't even drink water. He utilizes the water from the fruits, like the coconut water or fruit water, the nutrients in fruits, because he says that there's no nutrients in water. So why would you intake something that doesn't put anything into your body? It just flushes your body out.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned from him, and he actually got into the science of the different foods and how to eat, and what foods are good for certain things, whether you're rebuilding, detoxing, replenishing yourself with certain nutrients. So that was a really incredible retreat. I had never eaten raw foods and I think it was about 5 days. I had never eaten raw foods consecutively for that long. I had cooked foods, but he really opened up my eyes as to how to prepare foods raw, utilizing different things like a dehydrator and different mixers and things of that nature, to really get creative with food. I know for me that was a big thing too, of like constantly eating the same thing all the time. But he would go out to the market and purchase, he would stack the kitchen with, and until that's finished, because everything is fresh. Fresh food kind of like, if you don't eat it during a certain time, it'll go bad.
Right.
So we had to get creative, 3 meals a day, or sometimes we had 2 meals a day and just having a protein shake. But actually utilizing these different foods to get creative and make different sauces and make different dressings and like different shakes, and utilizing different herbs to really just enhance the flavors, but at the same time it's healing you,
and it's all so raw,
yes.
So I don't need a stove.
You don't need a stove.
Where's the microwave?
Don't need no radiation, please. No microwave. And that, to me, it was not only just resetting mentally, spiritually, emotionally, but my body was like reset itself, and I came back feeling so clear, so super, super clear. Like there was no fogginess from the different foods, or I received energy from the foods that I was eating, so I never felt tired.
We were eating life.
Oh my God, I was eating life.
Yes.
Foods that are fired up from the sun, that are cooked
Yes.
by the sun.
Yes.
That's how he, that's what he taught us. And I was just like, what? You never think that your food's already cooked. They're already ready for you. You don't need to go in and, he would teach us that, like putting your foods in the oven or putting your food in the microwave, that is taking out the nutrients, the natural nutrients that you need from these fruits and vegetables. Like it's already good for you. So that was something that that was a really cool retreat that I had an opportunity to go on. Another one was a yoga retreat in Tulum.
Yes.
Which was really great. We had vegan options, 3 meals a day, got to go out in different excursions, but made sure we had yoga, every day. And that was beautiful. And then our Bali retreat that was led by the beautiful Briauna Holmes.
Yes.
With yogi therapy. That was incredible. We had some great yoga sessions in the morning. We had sound baths. We got to go into nature and do some hiking in the rainforest. We got to swim in the rivers, in the jungle.
We were in the jungle.
We got to sit with shamans.
Ooh,
it was just
we had to
beautiful.
do the inner work.
We did the inner work. We did some workshops. So it was like a lot of self-discovery.
It was really introspective. Yeah. And I had never imagined it was going to be what it was. I
don't think any of us were prepared for
what I don't think we were prepared at all. Yeah, making you have to make a decision. And that was like the theme of Bali, making a decision. And in 2023, I made the decision that I want to host a yoga retreat. And I put it out there at a yoga event. Mind you, I didn't have nothing booked. Nothing was figured out. So I was kind of just like, we're going to Bali in 2024 and I'm speaking it into existence. And you have until this date to sign up. Yes. Girl, I had like 10 signups and I was just like, what is happening? And I didn't know anything about what I was doing. And, I really just stepped out on faith in myself and making this happen. And I'm so grateful for the women who signed up because I feel like they gave me kind of like the energy to like make this happen. I did one-on-one calls with each lady who was interested in going, and hearing the different stories that these women were coming from and their why as to wanting to come to Bali kind of inspired me to make sure no matter what, this retreat is happening.
Absolutely.
And, a week before the retreat, one lady canceled and disputed the charge with her bank and money was pulled out of my account. And I was just like, whoa, this was supposed to be for certain things because the site I created the retreat on didn't pay me until after services were rendered, which after the retreat. So basically when I hosted the retreat, I kind of did it just off of me and what I had from events. And so that was kind of like a huge like whoa. Another whoa moment was I was going into hosting a retreat, walking away from a relationship. So I was kind of dealing with my own stuff, as you know. Wow. Yeah, I was dealing with my own, struggles and having to show up for these other women who were depending on me to make sure this was right. We're going to the other side of the world. Some of these women had never even been on a plane before, let alone,
or out the country.
So, I went into it just telling myself I was going to make it happen, and I made it happen, and it was great. But there was also a lot of things that, if you're interested in hosting a yoga retreat, there's so much to learn, and there's so much
we need
that you're liable for. Yeah.
What I love is your courage. Like, where did that come from for you to be like?
I was like, this is happening.
Wait, so did you like create a flyer? Like, what was it? Do you remember at that moment of like, I'm going to create a flyer because I'm having this event and whoever signs up like that, like where did that courage come from?
I literally just was like, this is happening. This is something I've always wanted to do. And I was literally, what did I do? When I made the decision that I was going to do it, I literally use photos from Google, like of Bali, and I
Wow.
created like a whole marketing plan.
Yes.
And yeah, and I just marketed it. And I think here's the thing, when people trust you, like when you create that individual connection with someone,
Mm-hmm.
they're ready to go. It's
Mm.
not, oh, yogi therapy is like this business that people are gonna like just book it because it's a yoga retreat. People are booking with me because of the relationships I've developed, and also me showing up,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, she shows up for these yoga events. Like, I've always wanted to go on a yoga retreat. Let's go. Sign me up,
I love that.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, because when I found out about it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm down. It wasn't even a question of,
Like,
I didn't
it's
even
like
care
I'm
about the
going.
details. I didn't need to know the details. I just knew that you were like Bali retreat. I was like, I'm down. And I think
Yes.
that there's something to that, like you said, like building the relationships that you've built,
Mm-hmm.
because we trust you. We trust, like, oh, if Brianna's gonna go, we gonna be good.
Then we're going. Mind you, I ain't never been there before.
Which I love
So,
that, because that speaks on so many levels of like faith,
yes.
trusting your gut, like,
Yes.
and being decisive. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people are on the fence
Mm-hmm.
of like, should I do something, should I not do something? I don't know, I don't have all the answers, I don't know where to begin, I don't know where to start. But you, like, to me, what you did was just like, just start, just make the announcement. And now that you've made the announcement, you have people that signed up. So now I have people that are invested and I want to go. So now let me start to make, step by step. And you don't
Yeah.
have to have everything figured out, which I think is really, I love that you shared that, because I know for me, I've struggled with that in certain areas of my life. Certain areas, I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to figure it out, one by one. But it's like that level of faith that you have, I think is just so
Just
admirable.
letting go of, I think it's almost like letting go of control
Yeah.
a little bit. Like, life challenges are going to happen
Yeah.
anyways, you just have to go for it and you have to make a decision. And once I made the decision, Bali is happening, everything else kind of just started falling into place. Airbnb, like when you're booking your retreat homes, you could do a payment plan so that, like, if you don't have the money, the upfront costs to be able to just book a retreat house,
Yeah.
pay half now, pay half late. Like, anything you want to do in life, I've realized it's going to be hard. It's going to take hard work. You just have to make the decision that this is what I want to do and take it step by step and be on the journey. And a big reason why I wanted to host a retreat was because I want more people who look like us to travel and get your passports and, learn about this planet. There's other places than just America. There's other cultures. Let's break out of this, American system and go experience new things, try new foods, be around new languages, new people, new environments, get in the jungle. This is where we should be at anyways. This is where we're supposed to be at anyways.
Okay.
This is where we're supposed to be.
I agree. I
So-
totally agree. I love that. So what are some of the pros and cons of hosting a yoga retreat? Because what it
Yeah.
sounded like you had your own stuff that was that was unfolding at the same time. Where
Personally.
you had to hold,
Yes.
like, space for other people.
Mhm.
Like, what are some of the pros and cons, and what would you have done, differently now that you know what you know?
Yes, most definitely. We can start off with the cons because the pros are really positive, and I want to end on a positive. So, yeah, I would say the cons, there was just so much I didn't know. I had never even been to Bali before.
Yeah.
So even just leading up to the retreat, I learned so much because I did like payment arrangements because I wanted our people to go.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? However you can get there is how you're going to get there. Some people paid in full. Some people I had one lady pay $100 a month until it was paid off.
Wow.
I'm going to work with you so that you can come because we need to go,
Yes.
So I didn't expect people to cancel.
Mhm.
Some people canceled.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, okay, this kind of shifts things up. But you know, the beauty in that at the same time. Like, there was beauty in every con, because at the same time, the people who were meant to be there were there. And I am so grateful for the women who showed up, because it was the perfect mix and it worked out amazing. So, but yeah, people are going to cancel. And then as far as, you know, making the decision, you know, flying out to Bali, I'm bringing the stuff for the retreat and everything like that. The third day I was in Bali, the driver I had at the time, I was like, I need to pull out money. It was the day everybody was arriving. And we're on the way to the retreat house. And I'm like, please, I need an ATM. He's like, and my mom's in the car with me, because she's such a ride or die. She's like, we doing this retreat. Let's go. So I'm like, okay. He pulls over to like what looks like a 7-Eleven, right? In Bali. Yes.
You were there?
Oh, were you in the car with us?
Was this when we were heading to the house? Or this was before we all got...
I think this was right before we got you, or we met up with you. However we met up with you before we went to the retreat house, or however that happened. I just needed some money, because I was like, everybody's coming today. I need some cash. Yes. So so we pull up to what looks like a 7-Eleven. My mom's like, are you sure? I don't like, you know, she's being typical. She's like, I don't like this. I was like, Mom, like, he knows, he's from here. Girl, I go in here, I put my card, and something told me, don't put your card in this machine. I put my card in the machine. Girl, my card does not come out. The money does not come out. The people are acting like they don't know what I'm talking about.
No.
I'm like, the machine, the ATM took my card. Like, hello, I need money. What are we doing?
Oh
I had some money that I had brought, but you know, you don't want to be walking around with a bunch of like thousands of dollars in cash. Thank God my mom was there. Thank God you were coming, because you were on your way, because I was like, I need another card, because all I had was my credit card left. So I went out there with one debit card and one credit card. Don't do that. Like, if you're hosting a retreat, you need to have at minimum 2 or 3 debit cards to have access to cash, and 2 really good credit cards. Like, don't play around. You need to have things that will work internationally. Check with your banks. Set yourself up financially, because things get real
on your card, so it's not shut off when you go to these different countries as well.
Yes, and make sure the cards that you have will work in these other countries. Like, it's just so many things I didn't think about, you know? And so you get so focused on the fun stuff that there's other stuff that's really real, and like, people are depending on you to make things happen. And so thank God my mom was there. We used her card. We went to an actual bank in Bali and pulled out cash. So that worked. Like, every con kind of had a beauty in it at the end of the day. It was just things, I think, you know, hosting a retreat, it was all on me, as far as, you know, the chefs and the groceries and the food, and what meals are we eating today, and what foods are even available in this country right now, you know, because you want to have a certain type of salad. Well, maybe those vegetables aren't available right now, you know? And so it was like, I had the chefs talking to me all day about 3 meals a day. I had the retreat home owner texting me about, hey, make sure this happens, that happens. Hey, I saw you brought an extra person. I need this much more money. Like, just, I'm dealing with that behind the scenes, and nobody can see what's going on. I'm also dealing with my own personal stuff. I'm also dealing with these new personalities arriving to the space. And then I'm also a business owner. So how am I coming off to these people? Are they trusting me? Do we all connect with one another? Is this going to be weird? I can't be weird. It's my retreat. Like, it's so many things going on in your head where, you know, it was a lot, you know, but I just had to trust in the process. And the first night of the retreat, I had to be the one to kind of set the tone, and I knew that. And I believe I opened up the first night at the table when we were all together. And I think one of the retreat attendees called me out, and she was like, well, you're asking us to keep it 100 and tell our stuff, but like, we can tell there's something going on. You're holding back with your situation. And I think I had a full breakdown at the table. I think I was like first to cry. And it felt so good to be around these amazing women and be able to share and feel safe and not feel like, oh, you're here for the yogi therapy retreat, let me be yogi therapy and everything's great. And like, no, I was going through a really hard time, but I feel like the retreat really got me through that. And just women learn from other women, I feel. And when you're in the space we were in, it was just so healing and so amazing. And I think the greatest highlight was the shaman experience.
Oh my gosh, yes. And just the level of vulnerability that I believe every woman came in with, because we all came with something that we either wanted to heal, that we were working through, and we wanted to get through to the other side of that.
Yes.
And we knew that it wasn't going to happen overnight, but we knew that this was a part of the process. And the shaman experience was mind-blowing. First of all, like, how everything was unfolding every day. You were like, we're going to try to see if this excursion happens.
We were just
that excursion
random.
Happens.
Yes.
It was like, you know, like just winging it in a sense, having somewhat of a blueprint, but not allowing us to just stick to it. We were flowing. Like, and I loved that about it, because it was like, you know, how do we feel today? Let's check in with ourselves today. But everything felt like it happened the way that it was supposed to. Like, even the first excursion that we did, when we went to the jungle and we hiked, and some of the women had never hiked before,
had a full
breakdowns,
who were skydivers and had full breakdowns.
Yes, and we had to like hold each other's hands and really help each other through this process. And that was like the first team building experience that really broke open levels of trust and vulnerability with each and every one of us. So when we got to the table that night and we had dinner and we had that opening, you know, ceremony, it was like, look, this is who we are, this is what we're all experiencing, and it's, you know, we when we leave here, we're hoping to, you know, be on the other side of this. Like, you setting intentions, I think that was really important, like making sure that we all set intentions when we came into that home,
the first night,
so that we knew why we were here. And that's always at the forefront of our minds. It's not just, oh, we in another country, we're gonna turn up. Like, this was a really healing wellness experience. And the shaman, I felt like that
was crazy. We got to talk about the shaman experience.
Listen, you want to talk about that?
Let's talk about it, because that was crazy. Hold on. First, let me tell you how I found this shaman. First of all, how did I find this shaman? On my TikTok scrolling.
No.
And I saw this lady like met with a shaman in Bali, and I was like, what? And I was like, okay, that would be a good idea. I saved the video.
Okay.
I go through her page, go through all her comments, girl, trying to figure out, how do I get connected with this shaman? After a lot of research and digging, I find a phone number, a WhatsApp number, and I like text the WhatsApp number, like, I'm bringing a yoga retreat, like, can we book, you know, a time? And they texted me back and were like, yes, my darling, like, come at this time. That's all I had. I had an address and a WhatsApp phone number.
Did it ask for a deposit or anything?
Nothing.
They were just like, pull up.
It was like she knew what was coming.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know who I spoke with, but they were just like, yes, you're booked.
And see, me, like, one of my favorite movies is Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay, yes.
Shouts out to Julia Roberts.
Yes.
Like, literally watching her, I feel like I've had an experience where I did like my Eat, Pray, Love. And she goes off to Bali and she meets with the shaman, Tuk Tuk. And I just knew that when I got to Bali, I needed to find Tuk Tuk. So I remember we were like corresponding. You were like, I'm trying to set everything up with the shaman, and I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to see Tuk Tuk. But I found out Tuk Tuk passed, and his son was actually now kind of taking over that legacy of shamanism.
That's beautiful.
But it ended up not working out, and I wanted to have the experience with everybody. I didn't want to do a separate experience. So I was like, Ashley, just trust the process. Like, I trust Brianna's gonna set everything up right.
It was crazy.
But I had my questions ready, you know, and I was hoping.
You were, you did. You were like, oh, can you wait, first of all, she was texting me before the retreat talking about, well, can I get the link to the shaman? Can I? I was like, you need to trust the process.
I needed to make sure
I didn't even have a link.
Because, you know,
girl, I didn't know what was about to happen.
I needed to make sure
there was
legit,
no website.
I needed answers. I know inside.
You wanted to know.
But I needed confirmation, and I wanted to see if she was like, he or she, whomever I met with, could, like, you know, I saw Julia Roberts have a really beautiful experience, and I was like, you know what,
girl, this was no Julia. This was
no
this was
Eat, Pray, Love experience.
I didn't know what we were walking into. Yeah.
So, do you want to share? I'll share a little bit about.
Well, you tell me what you. Well, all I know is I had an address and a phone number.
I'm gonna just tell you. When
we
pull
got
up there, and she had to drink the tea. I was like, all right. This
well,
tea.
even before that. Okay, we pull up to like some random little village, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? It was cute.
Like, yeah.
When we pull up in the car, you know, and I was like
full of like rice. what are those called?
Like rice fields?
Yes,
Or
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
right in like middle of a rice fields. There were like some new development properties that were there that
Yeah.
we had to walk through. First, we couldn't even find it. We had to like
Yeah.
ask people.
We were
in
like,
the
wait, now,
community.
where is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
like where it was.
Yeah.
And when we got there, it was like, oh, okay, this feels legit. Like the energy when you walk into that space,
Oh
when
my
you're walking
God.
there,
It's like,
it gets you
ooh.
feel intense. You feel like, okay, something
I'm like,
is
what did I
transitioning.
just get us into?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we walk up to it. It says her logo. Beautiful space, right? And we're like, oh, this feels like the real deal, right?
Like, I was like, wait, this ain't no. I thought we might. I don't know, girl. Honestly, I really thought it was gonna be more like foo cookie cutter. Like let's sit in a let's sit in a circle and hold hands. No.
Kumbaya? No, ma'am.
No.
She was like, I felt like she looked up straight through our soul. She had on all white.
She know who everybody was.
Yes, she knew who everybody was.
And mind you, they didn't have my picture. Nothing. They had nothing.
So the first person that walked in was it you? Did you go first or did Jessica?
I think I was kind of trying to lead. Like I was trying to be
you
like.
Didn't go first.
I didn't because I was kind of spooked out, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Jessica went first. But I remember when
she was ready.
She was ready. She knew.
Oh, because remember her psychic told her on the first night, her psychic was like, make sure the retreat owner meets with the shaman. So Jessica was all ready to go.
Yeah. She's real talented. Shouts out to Jessica.
Shouts out
to all the women who joined us in Bali.
Yes.
And Jessica went first. And I just know after she came out, she was like crying.
We all sat down.
We were on the front, like back porch a little bit waiting.
We were waiting for our reading. Yeah, so they bring out this tea. And the tea, I don't know what was in that tea.
Something was in that tea.
It was a bunch of different stuff, like legit plants in the tea. And I was like, okay. They're like, oh, just drink this, sip on this. I never thought in my head that there would be something in the tea that would make us like.
Me neither, because it was tea and cookies. I'm thinking just.
Girl, we went into another dimension. Yeah, okay. But I even felt that energy when we first showed up. Like I was like, is this place even real? Like when we got to the village, I was like, can other people see what's happening here? Because remember there was that whole real estate development.
In front.
And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Do you have to be on a certain energetic level to be able to see what's happening?
This is here. And on top of that, I love that she had like a full garden in the back.
Yeah.
There were butterflies just everywhere. It felt like this oasis of just like beauty and nature. So it made it feel calming. There was not one moment where I felt like scared or I felt like anything dark there. Everything was just like, it was a beautiful energy. It was just like,
intense.
It was intense.
It was intense. And I felt like, okay, I can't BS this lady.
Yeah.
I can't smile and be like, oh, this is my younger routine and everything's good. Like she could see through all of us there. And there was no specific order as to how we did things that day. And I don't want to share too much because y'all need to come, but and experience it for yourself, but I will say we had our one-on-ones with her and somehow they knew there was a mother-daughter. It was a lot of mother-daughter energy happening on the retreat. You had the dynamic with you and your mom. We had a retreat member who had lost her daughter, right? And she was still healing and working through that. And then, to be honest, me and my mama were not talking leading up to that retreat. Okay, so we had not spoken in like a few weeks because she was, I was going through the ups and downs of the relationship I was in, and she was like, "Why can't you just wake up and leave?" And that can be frustrating to witness your daughter going through something like that. Right. And so, me and my mom also needed to heal our own, communication issues and things we had going on. So. And she was there with me. So we were all just kind of dealing with like this mother wound kind of situation. And my mom also just lost her mom. So it was just like, we had our one-on-ones. And then we went from there into this whole like experience of purging after meeting with the shaman, which I will say. So when I met with the shaman, she basically told me that she was like, there's two lions, and she was like, one lion is sleeping, one lion is awake. She's like, I was like, okay, well, which lion is sleeping right now? She's like, your love energy lion is sleep right now. She's like, and it'll be sleep for the next 2 years. You need to focus on the lion that's awake, and the lion that's awake right now is business. And girl, the cards she was pulling were women in a circle holding it, like retreat, like me helping community and money. Which was great. And she was like, money abundance is coming for you. She's like, that's what's right here. Mind you, I'm broke as hell in Bali, trying to keep this retreat afloat. Still haven't been paid for the retreat, still broke, still got no place to live, like when I come home, like and she was like, no, I see money, I see abundance for you. She's like, she's like, this lion, it will always be there. And I was like so upset over like my breakup, and I was like, well, should I call him? I feel so guilty being here, he's not here, and look at all these experiences I'm having. I'm really struggling here, you know, and I'm choosing myself, and I'm learning how to choose myself. She's like, that will always be available to you, that will always be there, he will always be there if like that's something you want to tap into. She's like, but right now I need you to focus on this energy. She was like, no. You know, and it was just, so that was tough. The one-on-ones were super intense. Some people walked out crying, some people walked out with a smile. Jessica looked like she was at peace when she walked out. She looked like she was like, okay, but I think she had been doing the work. And it's kind of one of those things, everybody's just, one lady, I think she really opened up more after that experience. Yes, I feel like I learned so much more about her after this experience. And, you know, and some people, you know, the shaman, you can't hide things. She's going to see, she'll be like, wait, did you just have a baby, or did you just get an abortion, or what just happened with this, or what just happened with that? Like, they're just able to be like, wait, no, that's not what I'm seeing right now. You know? And my mom had a crazy experience with the one-on-one. The shaman actually opened up about herself, which was interesting, was because my mom is a therapist. So my mom's a licensed therapist, and so it was like the shaman had a therapy session with my mother, and my mother giving her therapy, which was very interesting. And she shared with my mother how she grew up in her life. And you know, she shared with my mom, you're entering the last quarter of your life. You know, live it to the fullest. Like, you're in your last 25%. Go all in with everything you like. Imagine someone telling you that. It's kind of one of those things. And mind you, when we did this experience, I didn't warn anybody about anything. I didn't even know what really we were getting into. I'm kind of thinking for the next one, should there be like a warning, like, hey, I don't know, the shaman may share things with you that maybe you don't, you know?
I think it's all discovery.
Are you ready for the information?
I mean, if they weren't, they wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? I feel like anybody who shows up is ready for the experience. They can opt out, right? Nobody's going to force anyone to do anything.
Of course
But
not.
I think, you know, opportunity meets you when you're ready, you know, at that door. And so if you come, you know, if you have the opportunity to come, just be ready to be the best version of yourself. Be ready to let go of what no longer is serving you. And I think that's important. I know for me, what the shaman shared with me was like very, very similar. It was about my business. And, you know, I'd been so concerned about, not so concerned, but just, am I where I'm supposed to be? The one of the things she talked about was my voice, you know,
living your truth, speaking your truth,
she said,
using your voice.
Is your power. That is your power. She said, very similar to you in a little bit. She said, I see you teaching people how to make money. And I also see you teaching spirituality, you know, people. And she's like, either way, you have to use your voice. That is where your power is. And, you know, if you do that, you know, you'll always be, you know, abundant and be wealthy. But you have to make a decision. And I said, well, do I have to have, and I remember sharing with you ladies, I was like, trying to figure out, you know, yoga and wellness and all this, or and my spirituality, or, you know, real estate. And I was like, but why do I have to choose? I don't want to have to choose. And without me sharing anything with her, she brought those two things up, which was, you know, you're teaching people how to create abundance and materialistic, and then there's the spirituality part of you. She said, you know, and I said, well, do I have to choose one? She said, no, you can do both. You know, and I was like, like that was the same question that I had. And then on top of that, one of the things was being a mother, because me healing my mother wounds with my own mother, it was because I know that I'm ready to step into this new season of, evolving as a woman and entering into motherhood. And so the last card that she pulled when I asked that question, it was a woman holding a baby.
No way.
And I was like, get out of here. She was like, yes, but the baby's not going to come, or the baby's not going to say not going to come, but the baby will come once you are fulfilling, your
destiny
career and your destiny, your dreams. That's when they'll come. And I was like, that's what
that makes sense though. That's what you want,
that's
right?
What I want. And I was like, and I kept saying that, and it's like she just reiterated everything that I'd already known, and it gave me more confidence to like strengthen my voice, to use my voice. So coming back, one of the first things I said was like, let's get this podcast up and rolling, because that's the first way to use my voice, to share my voice, to share my gifts. And like I said, the real estate have really started to unfold and take off, and sound healing and things of that nature. And I'm like, I can do both. I am doing both, and I'm super grateful for that. So I'm just super excited. I love what retreats do, because you feel, again, you come back and you feel refreshed and recharged in your life, and things that you're afraid to let go of, or you want to bring into your life, you have more clarity around that. And that's what's really helped us pivot to 2025, where we are right here, right now. And I'm super excited for the upcoming retreats. We'll kind of, talk a little bit about that.
I mean, it's time. I'm ready. I think at the end of the retreat, it was so much introspection and working through our stuff, right? I ended up staying in Bali alone when the retreat was over, and just really went even deeper into, I had like my own little mini retreat for Brianna's healing. And I learned so much from hosting the retreat experience, and I think I am ready to host the next one. Like, I'm ready to go back to Bali. I'm ready to meet with the shaman again. And I'm ready to just be back. I mean, we haven't even touched on being able to drink from these beautiful coconuts. And like, that's like your meal. And, doing yoga every day by the ocean, having fresh prepared meals. I mean, I remember after that whole experience, we took a day to just get body scrubs and get rubbed down and just go through our,
So when is the next retreat, Brianna? Girl. Because we are ready. Let them know, speaking to the cameras.
Okay, should we just start calling out dates and stuff?
Say a month,
but I was thinking June
2025.
Speak it into existence. Yeah.
Like we're going.
I know. I just be, that's one thing about me. When I do make a decision, I'm like all in.
So let's do it.
June
2025.
Yes.
Yogi therapy. Our second retreat.
Yes.
In Bali, Indonesia.
Yes.
If you want to find more information about this, please go to
our
Brianna's Instagrams. Brianna
Zen
is
Sistars. It'll be in the bio.
Zen Sistars. Yeah. It'll be in the bio. It'll be in the link. But you can also visit Brianna at her Yogi Therapy, YOGITHEARPI. And mine, Ashley Divine, ASHLEYDIIVINE. We will also have more information about a possible retreat in either Ghana or Cape Town, South Africa. So please stay tuned. If you are interested, comment below, DM us, reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to invite you.
You're coming.
An experience to help you become the best version of yourself. Let go of that no longer serves you, and allow the best version of you to evolve and emerge. So
make a decision for you.
Yes. Be decisive. Make a decision. Invest in yourself.
Yes. Yeah, we will see you guys on the next one.
Next episode. Stay tuned. We love you. Peace.
Bye. Peace and love. Thank you.